What are 9 steps to solve business problems in consulting? Hi everyone, my name is Johannes and welcome to this channel. Welcome to Mastering Consulting. On this channel, I share my own learnings and experiences from my own current journey in management consulting to help you to become successful in consulting and living a balanced life. And if you're new to this channel, then please subscribe to it and leave a thumb up. This will help you that you don't miss any new video. And today we talk about a very important topic. We talk about 9 steps to solve problems in management consulting. And you probably know that problem solving in management consulting is very, very important because problem solving is at the end the core product of any consulting firm. So the client has a business problem, they hire a consulting team, and throughout the project, the consulting team derives a solution. And it's very important to understand that problem solving is at the core of any consultancy, because people are very often kind of nervous if they join consulting because they say, hey, I'm so junior and I have no certain expertise, so I don't know why they hire me in a consulting team. But the thing is that it's not that much about a certain expertise. Yes, this comes with some experience, but the core competence of a consultancy is to solve problems. So especially if you're new in consulting, then it's important, it's really, really crucial to learn about problem solving, to learn how to solve problems as structured as possible, because this is definitely something that is, at the core of your work for the first couple of years. And what I want to do today is to introduce you to a very simple 9-step problem-solving framework that I came up with over the past years. 2 books that I can recommend for you if you want to learn about problem solving is The McKinsey Way and The McKinsey Mind by Ethan M. Razel, and also the book Correct It. Those are 2 very, very cool books about problem solving in consulting. And what I want to introduce today is my own process that I developed over the past 4 years. It was based on the books that I just recommend, but I kind of adjusted it and twisted it so that it's kind of simple and practical for myself. And I want to talk today about those 9 steps and start with the first 3 steps. So the first part of problem solving is that you structure the problem. And you typically have 3 steps. So first of all, you really try to understand the problem. Okay, this means that you try to figure out what the client actually wants from you, what the actual problem is. You really try to understand the situation of the company you're working for, maybe the competitive environment, the industry, maybe also some macro trends. So you try to identify everything that is important to understand the problem. The second step is that you actually structure the problem. So this means typically you have one big problem that you have to tackle. Maybe for an example, we take that you have to increase profitability, but this is a very complex problem because there's so many things that have an impact on the profitability. So you as a consultant try to structure the problem, and this means that you divide that you break down a big problem into smaller sub-problems. And staying with this profitability example, this could mean that you break the profitability down in all the revenue drivers, maybe down in all the cost drivers, and this really helps you to break it down into more tackable sub-problems. And an important principle here is that you are MECE. So if you break complex problems down into smaller problems, that you are mutually exclusive but collectively exhaustive. This means that all of the sub-problems are the big picture and nothing is excluded, but that each of those sub-problems stands for itself. Then the third step is that you derive hypotheses. So this means after you understood the problem, after you structured it, you try to develop some hypothesis about the problem, about the solution. Because typically, on that stage, if you are in step number 3, you already have some information. Maybe you did some interviews with the client, maybe you did some initial analysis, you did some research, and you should have a pretty good idea about then what the problem could be and what a potential solution should be. So you derive hypotheses And those hypotheses will help you in the next phase, I will talk about in a second, to really make it as efficient as possible. Because in consulting, you don't want to boil the ocean, as we call it. So this means that you analyze everything that is out there. No, you only have limited times and limited resources. So you want to formulate hypotheses that make your analysis process as efficient as possible. And that's the reason why we work with hypotheses in management consulting. Then the next 3 steps that I want to talk about are in the second phase, and this is the phase of analyzing the problem. So after you derive your hypothesis, you actually, in step number 4, plan the analysis. So this means that you think about, okay, what kind of analysis do I have to perform in order to test my hypothesis, in order to prove it or reject it? You also think about who has to do the analysis and by when, and you actually prepare the project plan there. Step number 5 is that you collect the data. So maybe you ask for some data from the client, maybe you conduct some interviews, maybe you do some research, maybe you hire some experts, and maybe you try to get access and information from the internal knowledge management system. You try to get access to public databases. So it doesn't matter, okay? You collect the data that you need to have in order to do the analysis. And then step number 6 is that you actually conduct the analysis. And this could be, let's say, a business model that you build. This could be a ABC analysis. This could be a sensitivity analysis, or just a qualitative analysis where you go through all of the statements from the interview. So it doesn't matter. Step number 6 is typically that you conduct the analysis to test your hypothesis. So we have 2 steps. First, you structure it. After that, you analyze it. And then comes the next phase. And this is the phase of providing the solution. And there we have the final 3 steps. Step number 7 is that you interpret the results. So you did the analysis, now you do the interpretation and see, okay, can my hypothesis be confirmed or rejected? It's crucial to understand that those are iterative steps sometimes. So maybe in some projects, this is a linear process where you have to go through those phases only once at a time. But sometimes you realize in step number 7 that your analysis doesn't give you the answer that you were looking for. And then you have to go maybe to step number 1 again, where you really try to think again about the problem, okay? And then you derive new hypothesis and do new analysis. So this can always be the case. So be aware that this is always an iterative approach. Nevertheless, after you went through step number 1 and 7 a couple of times until you got the results that you wanted, you go to step number 8, and this means that you develop a solution. If we talk about solution development, it's crucial to also consider the constraints of your client. Sometimes they have constraints in terms of financial resources, maybe human capabilities, maybe there are time constraints. So think about that and finally derive the solution. And then step number 9 is also very important, a very important part of management consulting. It's to communicate your solution, which means that you usually have your final presentation with the management board where you talk about the solution that you want to propose. So that's it for the 9 steps in problem solving in consulting. I can say that these 9 steps really helped me throughout the past 4 years to solve problems in strategy consulting on a daily basis, and I still use it. Be aware that it's not always that structured. So many project leaders in management consulting, they don't follow exactly those 9 steps, or they do it intuitively, but this should give you a good overview of how consulting and how problem solving in consulting actually can look like, and hopefully this gave you some food for thought for yourself and a practical advice on how you can solve problems in a simple way. So with that being said, I'm of course interested what your experiences are in problem solving. So if you have any experiences, then write them down in the comment, and I hope this brought value to you. Hope to talk to you soon. Goodbye, Johannes.